All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in today's video. Now, their first round pick, Emeka Okbuka at 19 and a wide receiver. Tampa, first off, has possibly the best wide receiver room in the entire NFL for at least one or two more seasons here with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both coming back. But I don't know. ESPN doesn't like it. The Athletic doesn't like it. PFF doesn't like it. I feel like everything on TV, first off, you don't hear too much about Tampa in general, but people don't really know this roster. And if there's one thing the GM has done, it is a phenomenal job at drafting. But we'll start it off with Emeka Okbuka, wide receiver from The Ohio State. Now, I know I say this in so many videos, but you can't go wrong drafting Big Ten/SEC football players, and you definitely can't go wrong taking players from the national championship team. But Okbuka had 205 career receptions. That's the most in Ohio State history. His 2,868 career receiving yards ranks second behind Michael Jenkins and ahead of even David Boston, Garrett Williams, Chris Carter. Like, he's an iconic, legendary wide receiver for Ohio State. He also has experience with the Bucs wide receiver coach Brian McClendon in high school recruiting. He literally recruited Emeka, so there's some comfortability there, and you're taking a long-term approach. Like, Bucs fans, I know the more pressing need would technically be on the defensive side of the football compared to the offensive side of the football, but I personally, everyone loves to strengthen their weaknesses. I prefer to continue to strengthen on my strengths, and the Bucs wide receiver room is exactly that. But you have to keep in mind, and Bucs fans, like I said, know this. Mike Evans is about to be 32. All right, so he's not getting any younger. Chris Godwin's coming off a terrible injury. I mean, an injury that literally sidelined him for over second half of the season last year. So, he's going to take some time getting back. Mike Evans isn't getting younger, and Jalen McMillan had a really good end to his rookie season. And I know people don't like the Trey Palmer comparison because Trey Palmer also had a good rookie year, and I know they were different, but I'm just saying people were scratching at their heads at wide receiver. But like the old adage, in no matter what sport it is, you don't draft off of need, you draft off of talent. And Emeka Okbuka was a top 20 talent, so that's why Tampa took him. Now, folks, before we get any further into today's video, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL and Buccaneers content. Beautiful day here in Dunedin. If we could try and get this one to 100 likes, folks, that would mean the absolute world to me. So round 253. Now, I'm a biased Notre Dame football fan. We talked about Benjamin Morrison all the time on this channel. The highest completion percentage he allowed in college was 38.5%. Now, the one flaw, the reason he was available round 253 is because of injuries. It's very similar to Jamel Dean, who missed 9 games over the past 2 seasons. So Morrison underwent hip surgery in October. He also had a hip injury in high school, and he also had arthroscopic surgery on his right shoulder in 2024. But Todd Bowles continues to stress how they want more playmakers in the secondary. In Tampa last season, they were technically 16th in total takeaways, but when we look at the interceptions, they managed only 7 interceptions last season. So Morrison himself, over the past 2 years, has had 9 interceptions and 19 pass breakups, and even getting worse, or better for him, he didn't allow a touchdown over 159 coverage snaps last season. The Buccaneers gave up 27, which was 19th in the NFL. So Morrison's been super solid. He's at 84.3 PFF coverage grade. This is one of the better cornerbacks in the draft, in my opinion. Just the only concern there was his injury history. All right. Then round 384, doubling down like it's 2019, Jacob Parrish, cornerback out of Kansas State University. Now, he's 5'9". He actually primarily played outside in college, but he's expected to move into the nickel to compete with Christian Izzy, because Tyke Smith, the rookie last season from the 3rd round, the plan is to move him to strong safety. So Parrish ran the 40-yard dash 4.35 seconds. That was the 4th fastest time among cornerbacks in 2025, and he even had a top speed of 23.84. So he is very fast. But just like round 2 Benjamin Morrison, he also can play. 19 pass breakups since 2023, along with 5 career interceptions. But here is by far my favorite stat for Jacob Parrish. Get ready for this. He produced the 3rd highest advanced coverage in the draft class among outside cornerbacks, behind only Jahdae Barron and Travis Hunter, the number 2 pick in the draft. So that defensive back room, that was what people really wanted. Tampa, either edge or cornerback to take in the first round with pick number 19. Well, that's what they do in the second round, and that's what they did in the third round. And then for the edge, we get to round 4, 121, David Walker, who was an edge rusher from Central Arkansas. So, the linebacker room's interesting. The edge rushing room's interesting because Hassan Reddick was brought here on a 1-year prove-it contract, and I really just think he needed change the scenery. I think he needed a full summer. And so I'm feeling good about a Hassan Reddick bounce back. Maybe not, 15 plus sacks, but should get a good season out of Hassan. And then you have 2023 second rounder Chris Braswell. The jury's still kind of out on him, depending. But David Walker's a little interesting because Central Arkansas. So he was a 3-time FCS AP All-American, 3-time All-American, but in the FCS. He also led the FCS with 23 tackles for a loss and 10.5 sacks. Now, here's the thing. He's 6'1", but he is 263 pounds. All right, so he is very explosive. He's also good in rush defense, posted a crazy elite 92.6 run defensive grade in 2024. And then the final 2 picks, I actually really like this. This is probably my gem of the draft for Tampa because it's, we're talking later, past 4th round kind of gems. Round 5, 157, Elijah Roberts, defensive lineman out of SMU. So he's 6'5", 285. But he also ran a 4.78 40-yard dash. So he's athletic. He's versatile. More than likely, he's known for just his pure power. He had 17.5 sacks and 23.5 tackles for loss. Also forced 4 total fumbles in the last 2 seasons. Posted an edge pressure rate of 14.2%. What does that mean? That ranks just 2nd in college football last season behind college football sack leader Mike Green, whose rate was 15.4%. So only 1.2% higher. Roberts has consecutive great seasons, 90.7 pass rush grade in 2024 and a 91.6 mark in 2023 after transferring from the University of Miami, Florida. And then finally, another wide receiver. Not going to hear any complaints from me. Like I said, I like to improve strengths. Round 7, 235, Tez Johnson. Now, he's small. He's 154 pounds. So that's the issue. That's why he was drafted in the 7th round. But he's 5'10" and ran a 4.51 at the 40-yard dash at the combine. But he just, people say he looks quicker on film. In 2024, though, he lined up in the slot on 74% of his routes. So I'm thinking screens. That's got to be the play here. Screens, special teams. Now, we recorded 86 catches in 2023. He had 83 in 2024. That is the 2 highest single season reception totals in Oregon history. So before transferring from Troy, he also led the Sun Belt in that statistic. So the dude is fast, and he's a proven college football player, even though he's 154 pounds. So bulk up. But I like Tez Johnson. I like that draft pick. So I give Tampa A-. I don't know why people don't really care about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers draft. They just continue to do what they do well. So that's it for me. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL and Bucs content. But give me your favorite pick for Tampa and then your gem/sleeper pick down below. Peace.